Aloha, beautiful souls, and welcome to Transform Rian and a collective reading. So, I have no idea what Spirit's going to tell us today. I'm fully open. I hope you are as well. So, let's just dive right in and see what Spirit, what universe has to share with us. What wisdom, what guidance do we all need to hear today, right here, right now? Alright, so let's take these. And I'm also feeling like Spirit wants us to draw something from Magic of Marble as well. Okay, maybe just that one for now. And let's get some tarot cards as well, shall we? What would a tarot reading be without tarot cards? Let's see what these are. We'll start with that. I might move this right here. So firstly, we have I am captivating. And we also have I feel balanced. And I am treasured. Wow, look at this last card. A lot going on it. Lots of colors on this last card as well. It's making me think of like some kind of party, some kind of costume ball. And we also have Shuri. If something's broken, make it better. Oh my goodness, like this Shuri card has been coming out quite a bit in the readings I've recorded. And for our tarot cards, we have Ace of Swords. Look at that. And the Four of Coins, the Ten of Swords, Queen of Swords. Okay, so we're getting a lot of swords energy coming through, so definitely some ideas, some things with the mind, communication. The Emperor, and the Hanged Man. Okay, so two major Arcana cards here. So one thing that I'm really seeing here is I'm feeling that maybe several of you, with this Emperor and this Hanged Man, I feel like it's almost as if you recently felt like you lost some of your power. Like there was some experience recently that was very humbling, that maybe exposed you to some of your shortcomings, or maybe not even that, more like areas of improvement, okay? And it could be something that maybe someone had said to you, because we have communication here. With the Ace of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So it could be something that someone said to you that you've never heard before, that you never had as feedback before, something that someone's never told you before about yourself, about maybe the work you do, your behavior, something like that. And I want to say that this was maybe a bit brutally honest, okay? I'm hearing the word like put in my place. So when I was training in medicine, one of the things that, newer interns and students who are on their clinical rotations were kind of warned about and maybe even feared or dreaded was being pimped, okay? So it's not what you think it is. Pimped actually stands for put in my place. So part of the training is, sometimes when you go into training, you think you have spent all this time learning all of this information. So maybe you think like, hey, I got this under control. Like I have the knowledge right in here. I'm good to go. And some people maybe get a little bit cocky, right? And perhaps they let their guard down. And when you are pimped, when you're in your medical training, it's when your superior, whether, if you're like a student, it could be the intern, the resident, or if you're an intern resident, it could be like your attending physician or whatever. And they ask you like a ton of questions. It's almost like they're quizzing you like on the spot. And the point is to really test the limits of your knowledge, okay? So you're not gonna get all the questions right most of the time. There's always something more for you to learn, okay? So even though being pimped in training is kind of scary because you kind of want to have all the answers, you want to get a good score, you want to look good in the eyes of the people that are your seniors, that are your bosses, whatever. I get that, but really it's just part of the training to, in a way, maybe make yourself a little bit more humble, right? To maybe help you realize that you don't know everything. You don't, not everything is going to happen the way you predict it to be, right? You have to be a little bit flexible. You have to be able to roll with the punches. You have to be able to adapt to sudden changes or unforeseen variables and circumstances, right? And so that's like that energy behind it. So coming back here to this Queen of Swords and this Ace of Swords, what I'm feeling is maybe there was an area where you were getting a little bit too overly confident, or it could even be that you were getting a bit complacent. Okay, so we have this Hanged Man, no movement. We have this Ten of Swords as well. So like laying on the ground, dead, right? So no growth, no movement. And so there could have been some situation, some kind of environment where maybe you were just getting a little bit too complacent, and it could just be that you were letting the ball drop on a couple of things, okay? And you were called out on it, okay? That was this Queen of Swords. You were called out on it because the Queen of Swords is very brutally honest, okay? The Queen of Swords is not going to hold back. This is that type of energy where you are going to be told exactly what you need to hear. You're going to be told the truth, no matter how uncomfortable and unpleasant it will be. So I feel like that energy has been present in many of our lives who are being drawn to this reading right here, where, we kind of thought everything was under control. We were just cruising along, and we, were letting our guard down. And then something came in and, said, hey, wake up. Don't let your guard down. Don't get complacent. There's more room for you to grow. There's more here for you to experience. There's more here for you to learn, okay? And, I feel like sometimes maybe it's human nature to want to be like the best at something, right? Like we want to feel like a winner. We want to feel like we are doing a great job. And I would say for the most part, all of you beautiful souls are doing a really great job. But again, the world is always changing. Circumstances are always changing. And there's always an opportunity for us to learn something new, whether it's about ourselves, about our job, about other people, or about how, the world works and government works, community works, our body works, health works, something like that, okay? So I feel like there's some kind of aha moment, some type of realization here that felt very uncomfortable at first. And Spirit is saying that we need to kind of appreciate this new information, this new communication, okay? And see it more as an opportunity versus like a put down or sort of like an insult or even like some kind of punishment or maybe your reaction was taking it a little bit too far. It could have been why before I started this reading, I drew this card, Surrender Defensiveness, right? Like sometimes when someone points out like a mistake that we might have made, we kind of get a little bit defensive at first, like, what do you mean? I didn't do that. No, that wasn't me. Or it's like, oh, well, the only reason why that happened is because so-and-so didn't do the job, or because this thing wasn't taken care of, or right? Sometimes we try to offset some of that blame, for example. And maybe it's not even that we were being blamed for anything. It was just more like a, hey, like I saw that this wasn't done. I just wanted to check in and this was taken care of. And then, in our mind, in our defensiveness, we're thinking this person's coming for us, right? That they're trying to like bring us down or something. But no, 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 it's nothing like that, okay? So you're doing a great job. And as a matter of fact, I think that the person that pointed out this truth, whoever it is that has this Queen of Swords energy, they weren't meaning to insult you. They weren't meaning to even hurt your feelings at all, okay? It's just sort of like that's the perception that perhaps you had in that moment as sort of a reaction or an instinctual response, okay? And here, now that makes sense why Shuri came out, where it says, if something's broken, make it better. And this is actually reminding me a lot of this energy of Mercury in retrograde, all right? Are you familiar with the Mercury in retrograde? Like, it's one of the big events in astrology that most people tend to dread or hear a lot about. So we have like eclipses, new moons, full moons, right? Like those are big deals. But then Mercury retrograde, I would say, is probably one of the other big deals. I think out of all the planets, because all the planets go retrograde, right? But I think out of all of them, Mercury often tends to have this bad rap because during Mercury retrograde, like communications go awry, technology goes awry, travel plans go awry, and so a lot of people feel like Mercury retrograde is a big jinx, and they're fearful of the things that will go wrong during Mercury retrograde, right? I know I initially felt that way at first when I was just learning about astrology, but really, okay, this is the sort of like next level soul evolution, getting to that higher frequency, higher consciousness, higher awareness, okay? Really, Mercury retrograde and this current situation that the cards are sharing with us is all about pointing the areas in which there is room for improvement, or even like certain behavior patterns or things that we're doing that no longer serve us, that no longer work, that need a bit of a revision. Okay, like maybe you're just, I've been doing it this way for years now, and maybe that way that you've been doing things for years is not as efficient, right? In this current time period, okay? It's kind of like, as technology advances, right? We're so used to communicating via phone, like dialing someone up, ringing them, talking to them voice to voice, and now the way of the world in general is just moving towards like texting, right? So there was like phone, and then there was like emailing, and now a lot of these things are like texting and direct messaging. And we can say like, oh, well, I've always wanted to talk on the phone. I've always just done emails to communicate. And as the world changes, we need to adapt and change with it and kind of like become current, okay? And sort of function at our best, at our peak capabilities. And so it's really also about the inevitability of change, all right? And I'm always open and interested in ways that can be a little bit more efficient. And sometimes I think I'm doing everything efficiently, and I think I'm doing everything properly, and then I get told that I'm not, and that there's a better way to do something, or there's a different way to do something, or maybe that I made a mistake somewhere along the line, right? So, like for example, okay, this is a great story. I hope you can relate to this. So I got a new job, and I had to learn their electronic medical record system here. Okay, it was very different than the previous ones that I've utilized. And generally, when I write my medical note or my chart note in the previous systems, like there would be this list of all the chart notes that I've opened for patients I've seen, but I haven't closed out, I haven't finished writing up the note yet. And so that was my way to keep track of like all the notes that I did or I finished, or I haven't finished, I should say. And then I need to make sure to finish within, whatever, 24 hours. But this new system doesn't have that. And I was not keeping very good track of my notes that I finished and the ones that I didn't. And there was a patient that had called up to follow up on something, and when the person on call looked at their record, they saw my note, which wasn't finished. And I was like so embarrassed, and they told me too, they're like, hey, like I know that our medical systems, like it takes some getting used to, and then sometimes if we don't hit that save button, pieces of our note don't end up in the final record, but I just wanted to let you know that this note isn't finished from like last week or something. And of course, I was like mortified and I thought, oh my god, this person thinks I'm incompetent, this person thinks I'm lazy, this person thinks I don't know how to do my job. Like all of these like self-deprecating and like very critical and judgy things ran through my mind. Do you do that too? Am I the only one that kind of like sort of you know, poo-poos myself in my mind? Just kind of like someone points out a mistake and I totally go there. I like take it to the extreme and like berate myself in my head. I mean, gosh, hopefully I'm not the only one that does that, but I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it, or at least I'm very quick to recognize when I do that, so I can stop that cycle now and stop being so hard on myself, right? And have that perfectionist tendency. Many perfectionists out there trying to be a recovered perfectionist. And so what it really was like that the doctor wasn't saying any of those things that I was saying in my head at all. They were just saying like, oh hey, by the way, like your chart note wasn't finished. I didn't know if you noticed that, so just wanted to point that out. Like it was just a very harmless thing at its core, but you know, my brain took it there. And so what I'm seeing here, and then I saw that as an opportunity to like improve and be like, oh my gosh, I need to have a better system and a better way of keeping track of the notes that I finished typing. And so that really alerted me, thankfully, before the problem got worse, right? Like, who knows, like a month later, maybe there would have been like 5, 6, 7 notes that I didn't finish unknowingly, thinking I had actually done it, right? So now I have my own system. I like have these little check boxes that I do to make sure I finish all my notes for the day. And I don't leave any of them incomplete, right? So it's like this situation that felt maybe very hurtful, or we got defensive about, maybe we felt like we were being blamed or punished or whatever. It really was a move from the universe, a move from spirit to say like, hey, there's something that you should be aware of right now before it snowballs and becomes an even bigger issue down the road, okay? So that's really at the core of what I'm getting here. And, you know, going back to the first set of cards that we drew, what's really important for you to know is you are treasured. Type that in the comments down below. Not you, but I. Say I instead. I am treasured. That people do respect you, people do appreciate you. And just because they might have said something to point out maybe a mistake or something that you overlooked, it doesn't mean they value you any less, right? We're all human. We're all going to make a mistake at some point. That's just how it is. And it's not that we can't be forgiven for our mistakes, or that our mistakes are always going to be this big deal, okay? It's really not about that, is what I'm getting. It's really not about that. And then more than anything, I have a feeling that this person that actually talked to you and pointed this out really just thinks the world of you and wants what's best for you and wants you to be happy and succeed. And that could be why they pointed some of these things out, because they know you're capable of so much, right? And whatever happened recently doesn't affect that, right? And that they still think very highly of you. And with this, I feel balanced here. Again, it's like stepping away from that perfectionism, right? There's this balance. There are things that we shine at. There are days that we feel like we are doing an amazing job, and there are days where maybe we are letting the ball drop on a couple things, or maybe we're forgetting or missing things, and it could be like a bad day. And you know, it's all about that balance, that not everything can just be perfect. And thankfully, not everything will be a hot mess all the time, okay? And so it's coming back to your center and not going towards these two polarities, these two extremes, right? Where we're like hypercritical and hyper-judgmental of ourselves and being overly confident and cocky, right? It's like about finding that balance in our attitude and our outlook. And lastly, I am captivating. What is this card trying to share? I feel like we need to maybe draw a couple tarot cards, because I feel like that might be a separate message, a side message, and maybe it's not even for everybody, but we'll see. Let's see if it resonates with you, okay? So you have, oh my gosh, The Lovers card. Ooh la la. And then we also have the Eight of Cups. So definitely what I'm seeing for some of you, it could have been someone that you're very close with, maybe like a romantic partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, like maybe they pointed something out and you really took it in the way that it was some type of criticism, some type of judgment, and that's not really how they meant it at all. I'm getting the sense here that it could be something that maybe was affecting them and they were struggling with maybe sharing with you because they weren't sure how you were going to react or respond, but it was something that was maybe really even bothering them. And it's not, again, that they want to break up with you or that they're sick of you or they don't want to be with you anymore. I'm getting the sense that it's really about moving beyond this energy of like sadness, being upset, feeling hurt, whatever the case may be, feeling frustrated, and they just wanted to kind of move beyond that, right? And they just want to point something out and be like, hey, like I noticed that you're been doing this a lot, like I'm concerned, I'm worried, or it's really been affecting me and making me sad or making me feel upset or feel hurt or frustrated because I know this isn't how you normally are, or I don't want our relationship to be like this where we feel like we can't talk to each other about certain things. And right, like it definitely, I feel like it's that kind of situation that no one is trying to end things or break things off or fire you or whatever the situation may be, even though maybe in our heads we kind of tend to catastrophize it. It's really just more like, hey, like I just want to point this out so that we don't have any more issues or any more mistakes in the future, and that we can all just be the best that we can be and really understand each other and communicate better, take it as it applies. All right? So I feel like that was our message from the universe today, which was very beautiful, very humbling. And I hope, again, don't give in to that inner judge, that inner critic. Just know that you're doing a great job. You really, really are, okay? And this has nothing to do with belittling you or making you less than. Not at all. It's about elevating you to becoming even a better version of yourself. All right, loves, I hope this message came at the right time for you and was exactly what you needed to hear. If it was, give a like down below, type in I am treasured, I am balanced, I am captivating in the comments down below as well to claim those energies. And I will see you next time. Take care.